It's interesting because Elevate, they banned away the Zeus because Boronic is known for his Zeus play, and then they tried to ban away the Nemesis away from KhaoticPurpose, but he's also known for his Ratatasker. You can't really pinpoint ban away, I would say, Aware at this point in time because their god pool is just so diverse.
It's weird because Elevate did those same bans to us as well. So I feel like they're just maybe have like a set strat that they're just going to keep trying. They're just going to keep going into the same like strat, and it clearly hasn't worked, so maybe they'll do some different stuff going into these picks and bans.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, Smite is a dynamic game. You can't go into every single match with a one-size-fits-all strategy, so it's just not going to work out in that regard. Looking at the way that Elevate had performed, though, one of the things I did notice, Rippin Holes was almost making a lot of the solid good plays. You'd see Rippin go in, unfortunately by himself, with his teammates just a couple of too many steps behind. He'd get a nice 3 or 4 man taunt, hit him with all with the shield wall, and nobody else was really there. So I want to see more teamwork come out of the support player there.
Personally, I'd like to see, if you don't know how to play against Raw, get it out of the game.
Yep.
Like, a Raw should not go 8-0 in a competitive Smite game. I don't think that should ever happen. So yeah, there's a ban right there. That's a smart move. Probably the smartest move we saw this weekend from Elevate. Glad to see him changing it up.
No, I'll completely agree, because one of the things that I think watching Boronic play, one of the things that he has at his disposal is fantastic positioning. And when you have good positioning, there are a couple of characters in the mid lane that just sort of amplify that. And Ra, because of how long range the ultimate is and how the nature of backing up into the heal, good positioning on Ra becomes great positioning. So just not allowing him to have that. Instead, we're going to see the Zeus.
It also helps to have the Kenshin playing such an aggressive Bacchus, having KhaoticPurpose always diving in with his ultimate on the Ratatasker to allow you that kind of space separation to be able to get off your abilities.
Well, when it comes down to it, you know, watching Aware, I can't help but, and I've tried to fight this a little bit in my own brain, but watching Aware, I can't help but find the comparison to Pain to Beyond on PC. You've got Kenshin there in the support position, a little bit older than the rest of the guys, really the loud guy when it comes to comms as far as dictating the team fights and everything, and, you know, Aware kind of falling into rank behind him. I think that there's a little bit more team comms going on this squad than with Pain's enemy, but the idea is certainly there that Kenshin is sort of leading the charge.
I like that you mentioned that, because we have seen Aware sometimes go just a little bit too aggressive, sometimes getting punished for it. We saw around their Gold Fury attempt when they used all their ultimates and abilities in the mid lane. They didn't really have much gas left in the tank when Elevate was there to contest, and we saw a pick-off, and then it was actually Elevate that was able to get that Gold Fury immediately after.
Yeah. Another thing I've noticed about Elevate coming into this weekend, like, personally, I don't like their drafts, because if you notice, like, they're, like, drafting, like, rank, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't played their game at all this entire weekend, and we're just seeing, like, top picks. We need to come in with a play style. For instance, look at Soar. Soar had Zhang Kuei, like, second pick, you know?
So what is Elevate's game plan, then, you think?
I don't know. They are, like, last second put together, kind of. Like, Nickwood was their old soul laner. Then he, like, left or got replaced, something like that. I don't know. And now they have, like, a new mid laner and a new jungler, and, like, you can't... I don't think you can make changes that close to land against teams of, like, the caliber of, like, Aware, Allegiance, Soar, Rival, all these other teams here. So, like, I don't know. They just don't really have a play style.
They just don't have their own identity compared to, like, a lot of the more seasoned veterans like yourselves, Eager, and Soar.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, seeing what Elevate, you know, have done this weekend, I think that their identity should be follow Rippin Holes, get a little bit closer to him, let KeegsMate do his 1v1 thing, but reel him in a little bit here and there.
Something that I really want to see out of Elevate right now is maybe getting this Giannis for the last pick, because having KeegsMate maybe potentially playing the Soul in that dual lane is going to allow him to be aggressive and then get pulled back into safety with those portals. And on top of that, just the movement speed synergy between the Threshold and the portals coupled with the Amaterasu aura would be so problematic for Aware to really deal with if they're going to dive.
You know, we're looking over here at the Elevate draft and talking about the various issues with it, and this whole time we've just been kind of ignoring how godlike Aware's draft has really wound up to be. You've got this Zeus here in the mid lane, which is another one of Boronic's fantastic characters, by the way. And then set up between Erlang, Shen, Athena. Thor is going to do both hard carry and setup, and then you've got Rama on the other side for Cameron.
Personally, I love this pick from Keegs. I was going to say, I was expecting him to go like something weird, or just a mage ADC, like even Hebo, Chronos, Freya, something like that. Because Keegs, coming from like the dual scene, he's really good with these like mage ADCs and just mages in the dual lane. So I expect him to try to go literally like full hyper carry this game.
Absolutely. Like I said before, for Elevate, they're kind of struggling to find themselves and find their own identity. But at the core of it, you got to recognize, especially when you're a newer team that doesn't really have a strategy, you got to at least see what your upside is. And at the end of the day, KeegsMate is a fantastic hunter. He's going to be able to 1v1 the best players in the world. So you know what? If you don't have a game plan, but you got that diamond in the rough player, lean on him, let him pick the Freya, see if he does hard work. Homie, is it enough to bring Elevate a win?
False.
How about you, Toli? What you feeling?
I feel like Aware's going to qualify off this game.
Aware's looking very hot. They've got one more game to qualify for. The big one, Tiger and Adonis have the call.
Thanks, F. Aware definitely looking very hot. The desk are definitely in their favor, but it's up to Elevate to step on up and make it work.
I really love this composition that Aware has drafted around Zeus. That's one of the most important things. When you draft a Zeus, you have to have, setup for him, you have to have peel for him. They've brought that in, in threefold. Not only do they have the Erlang Shen, which is going to allow for those pins when people go aggressive on Boronic, but they have the double globals from Thor and Athena. This style from Aware is going to be completely play around Boronic. Set him up, keep him safe, make sure this Zeus can get off all his damage.
This is week 1 of the split. Nobody knew who Aware was, and then they pulled out this Zeus. They pulled out all of these picks and just completely decimated in the first week. So I really like to see them fall back on this.
This is a scary team. We've seen them just, get better and better as time has progressed. Remember, originally, KhaoticPurpose started on this team at the beginning, left it after such a really, I think they 2-0'd Eager, they 2-0'd Soar, right? Great start to the fall split. And then KhaoticPurpose, a little bit of an ego there. He left the team. He felt like he was more valuable than anyone else, tried to get on a different team. No one finds him. And then he comes back to Aware, and Aware just take him because they know how good this guy is. And now, KhaoticPurpose has to be happy with the members around him. They've all shown up. They've improved, not only from even yesterday. We're seeing these players play even better.
Synergy is very important when it comes to Season 3, especially in that jungle. You have to know to trust your jungler. So at that point, bringing back KhaoticPurpose, who was previously known as Layers OD, you want that home team right back, and Aware Gaming have found their groove.
And now Elevate here, they're going to have to fight into this one. I don't really like the comp they drafted. I just talked about kind of this great synergy that Aware has drafted around this Zeus, and it's the complete opposite for Elevate. They have this Nemesis, which you want to pair with high burst ultimates like the Raw, Raijin, even stuff like Poseidon. Anyone that's going to be able to be, all right, you ulted him, now we're going to kill him because his protections are shredded. And honestly, Soul just doesn't bring that at all.
Reminisct not able to get too much done over in the solo lane. Instead, we're just going to see Spin to win completely scatter Elevate. They don't want to take this fight, and instead Aware Gaming going to rotate over. Not only have taken the right Harpies, but also these Fire Elementals to get that nice early start.
Boronic's going to have a very early level 5. Not only does he solo his early waves, but he also gets the mid Harpies by himself, along with splitting the Fire Elementals, and he's going to set up for these left side Harpies soon as well. It seems like Elevate's putting themselves in a position where they do want to contest, however.
DoctorL falling into the same trap as last game, taking too much unnecessary damage from these archers and from these minions this early on in the game.
He doesn't really care about it too much, really, this goal, because he has an AoE basic attack chain. The death toll is going to sustain up a lot of the poke he takes, and he'd rather just burn through Waffles, health potions, and multi-potions as early as possible.
We had a shock last game, but what's the matchup like between Amaterasu and the Erlang?
It's very similar. Amaterasu doesn't really have a good laning phase. It's okay, it's not as bad as people perceive it to be, but it's really just about sustaining and making sure you don't get too far behind. Once you hit level 8, Amaterasu's fine, she just struggles to clear the wave early.
Aware keeping the pressure over in the solo lane, but over in dual lane, it's a different story. Elevate continuously pushing Aware Gaming back into their tower as soon as they clear out the waves that much quicker, which is surprising considering they have a Freya.
I'm pretty sure they got to lane a little bit early, which is what you really want to do when you're behind a little bit when it comes to clear. Could be trouble right now for Waffles.
Nice taunt. DoctorL going to be able to bring that health right back up with the ultimate. Going to keep that wall to keep Waffles away, but KhaoticPurpose doesn't have enough damage to lock down the Amaterasu.
Just missed his stuff. I mean, It just comes down to that was first blood. No level 5 on the Amaterasu. Dash was down, had no option to get away, and KhaoticPurpose just doesn't hit his stuff.
I'm trying to make it nice, Adonis.
He just missed his stuff. Sometimes, you know, you can't hit everything.
Definitely. Well, rotation's coming out from Elevate, trying to lock down these Fire Imps as soon as they come up, chasing out DoctorL. So Elevate now putting the priority on these Fire Elementals, which is what I wanted to see last game.
The issue is that, again, they need to protect those Fire Elementals. They need to contest these mid-harpies. Already, I mean, no kills on the board. Should have been a first blood, but Aware have a 500 gold lead. It's just about controlling the pace of the game. And honestly, Elevate's comp isn't really built for pressure. Not a single lane should have pressure. It's understandable because Rom doesn't really have the greatest contest. Obviously, has to sit in the front melee line to hit everyone. That allows Freya to get some free clear, so that makes a little bit sense that Freya has that lane control. But really, what's important is the mid and solo lanes in the first 5 minutes, making sure you can control those mid harpies, control your own buffs, and look for opportunities to steal your opponents.
This is already good for Elevate because at this point last game they were having every buff stolen from them. Both teams going to stay on their side, stay in their lane, not get too aggressive. We're not going to see any invades coming out from Aware, and Elevate are able to secure with a little bit of breathing room.
Aware are just going to look to play this relatively safe. They're going to go for some ganks with Thor. We've already seen one, and they're just going to make sure the Zeus is okay. You're going to likely see KhaoticPurpose sit in a position. We're not really going to see him walk into the left lane or walk into the right lane too often. He'll probably be in between at that Fire Giant pit, at the Gold Fury pit, to have that option to make sure to ultimate in case Boronic gets in a bad spot.
But what's the player mentality? They just lost a game, Elevate did, and yesterday they didn't win any of their other games. So this is it. This is our last opportunity to put a point on the board today, and lots of damage getting chunked with that double tap.
And Aware just controlling these mid-harpies for now. McWafflez forced back, DoctorL doing a good job.
Taunt into the Zeus ultimate, into KhaoticPurpose as well. The jump is not going to be enough. Boronic going to be able to secure first blood for Aware Gaming.
Perfect combination there from Aware. They find the taunt straight into the ultimate from Zeus, and just as the taunt CC timing ends, Thor dunks down, finds that stun. Bacchus finally jumps away, but by then he's got enough stacks on him for the detonate to finish him off.
This is the perfect team comp. If you could have, if they could have written down exactly what they wanted, this would have been it. DoctorL still going to be able to get away with the turtle and the sprint. Shoutouts to Kenshin.
Kenshin, my man, has been turning up. I mean, he's been playing in the competitive scene for a year and a half, 2 years. I mean, back on Epsilon, he played in a lot of MLG LAN events here. Has never really found his position on a team. We've never really seen him be able to shine, but with this Aware lineup, I mean, we're just seeing him have this aggressive playstyle that he didn't really used to have, or it didn't pay off. Maybe he just didn't have the people around him that could follow up off it, but now fitting in well with Aware.
And we heard in comms yesterday, he's so calm, cool, and collected. He'll get a little loud, but aside from that, the team knows exactly who they're going for. He tells them where to go. There's a little input from the rest of the team, but they trust Kenshin with their lives.
And you have to. At this high level of a play, you need to make sure that you trust your shot caller and follow up. When you have dissension in comms, when people are trying to make 2 different or 3 different calls, you're not going to work as a unit. The saying is always, it's better for 5 people to follow the wrong call than for everyone to follow different calls.
Because at that point, you don't have any synergy, you don't know where you're going, and you're just 5 people that know how to play the game, just trying to make a win out of it without any kind of guidance, without anything. Aware Gaming, strong start thus far, first blood, even though it could have been a little earlier, with a little bit of misplay over in the solo lane. Aside from that, 6 minutes, 30 seconds, little lead for Aware. Quiet game.
1,500. It's just kind of individuals outplaying in their side lanes, and then they group up well. You can see an invade coming out onto this speed. A little bit late to steal it away, but they do get damage onto the Nemesis, who's got to back off.
And Belladonna is good. At that point, you're able to see where everybody is as well. So KhaoticPurpose going to let Kenshin know where people were grouped up, even on the other side of the map. So nice ping coming through. McWafflez forced to use that ultimate just to try and get out. And DoctorL using his ultimate as well. He's going to be able to heal up here in just a second. But the spin to win against the wall. DoctorL still going to fall. KhaoticPurpose popping the purification to avoid the knock-up.
That was a misguided wall there from KhaoticPurpose, trying to get some stuns off and go for the kill there, but he actually blocked off DoctorL. DoctorL as well, using his turtle form too early, actually gets stunned out of it on the last hit from McWafflez. You saw him actually try and go through McWafflez, get to the other side, and just try and get that outplay, but on that ultimate for Amaterasu, you actually can't miss it. It's just like Sun Wukong 1. It can be juked, but you can't miss it.
With With great power comes great responsibility, whether you're Ymir with a wall or Thor with a wall. At that point, you run the risk of getting your teammates in a very precarious spot. Nice knock up once again. Rippin Hole's going to be able to find KhaoticPurpose, who wasn't able to teleport away in time. Boronic using that purification to avoid, and Kenshin pops the sprint to get everybody out.
Again, great defensive play from Kenshin there. Finds the taunt on the people chasing his mid laner, sprints as well. Zeus gonna get out safe there. But I love the response from Elevate there. The second that Thor finds that double tap, they know he can't go anywhere. His ultimate was down, used earlier to try and invade their buff. They find the belly flop. They see the engage from the rest of the team as well and just pick them up and Elevate get on the board again.
Still not seeing Elevate make any plays though. It's just being able to capitalize on Aware, specifically Thor's mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, KhaoticPurpose there, he's just trying to fight. KhaoticPurpose and KeegsMate are the same person. I wouldn't even say it's padded stats. They're not trying to steal all the kills. They just want to fight all the time. They want a deathmatch.
I mean, they're a LAN. They want to, you know, at that point, you're able to stand up and look at the person that you killed 20 times in that game and go, GG. GG, my friend. But 8 minutes, 42 seconds, still only 3 kills on the board. A little bit of a ward war coming through. It's nice to see a lot more vision from the last game.
And Gold Fury obviously going to be the next point of contention here. And Aware have a composition that's going to be able to burn it. They have the Thor wall to zone off a lot of people. The Zeus damage as well, going to burn through it. It's just going to come down to picks, and I think that's what Aware are going to be looking to set up for here. It's what I'd like to see them set up for. Look for a kill on the KeegsMate or the Soul. Two of the guys that are going to have the best contest at your Gold Fury. Obviously, Freya is going to be able to whoop you, displace it, sometimes reset it, and Soul has actually very strong steal with her kit. And so if you can get a pick on either one of them, that's going to open up that opportunity.
Reminisct getting chunked for a third of his health from the double tap from KhaoticPurpose. This Thor knows just exactly how much damage he does right now. He's going to try to get that long-range poke with his, with the CC as much as he can. But they need to find these picks Aware and know that Elevate are on the back pedal. They're just reacting, so Aware need to give them something to react badly to.
And Aware pinging out this speed buff, but Elevate know it's being contested, and they actually take this time. Elevate's so scared of their speed buff getting stolen, they don't recognize that the Gold Fury's been started up.
Nice whoop, gonna give them a little bit of time.
KeegsMate
bringing the damage, but Boronic is gonna die and fall, and Elevator gonna be able to take the Gold Fury because of Keegs. He was on fire game 1, he's on fire game 2.
How does that happen?
It's just a Freya.
There's just a Freya in the middle of 4 people. And no one is even looking. That is an atrocity.
What a splash, dude.
That is an atrocity of a mistake that from Aware, who have been playing so well, for them to let the Freya just walk around in the middle of 4, killing, no one even body blocked for the Zeus until he was at 10% life. And then Keegs can just pop into the sky and I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think I've ever seen a Gold Fury handled worse than that. I'm not gonna lie. And this is I'm not trying to be mean to Aware because they've been playing so well throughout their first 3 games.
It's definitely.
How does that? I'm actually confused on how that could happen.
It's definitely.
He's a Freya. You just let him kill everyone.
Let me know when you're done.
I'm done.
It was definitely a gigantic blunder, but Aware Gaming do not want to let anything get pulled out from that. Elevate, they have the Gold Fury, have a little bit of a gold lead, but at this point, they're not letting them find anything else after that. They protected the towers, and they haven't lost any members.
All right, I'm done. Okay.
Were you going to go into it again?
I was debating it, but I'm just so surprised because Aware is not a team that I had expected to drop it there. I think they were just trying to burst clearly they were trying to burst the Gold Fury. They didn't expect it to take that long to finish, and then they were going to turn on the Freya. But, I mean, they easily could have just turned on the Freya. They were too worried about the rotation coming in from the rest of Elevate that were on their speed buff originally. But now Elevate in a pretty good specific.
Well, let's watch that back from Keegs' perspective just to see exactly what happened in that Gold Fury fight.
So he comes in, he gets the whoop, and then he's just killing the Zeus.
Just Boronic
right there. He's just killing no one. Not a single person on Aware outside of Cameron at the end there even looked at him.
Spin to win. Rippin Hole's going to be just off the mark with the belly flop, not able to take advantage of KhaoticPurpose's askew positioning.
KhaoticPurpose doesn't have positioning. He has spots where he's trying to kill someone, like right now, straight onto Keegs. Great timing on that ult, though. perfect, actually, from Keegs.
Yeah, but it's going to lock in Amaterasu. McWafflez not going to be able to get away, take a tower shot for the troubles, but Athena crashing in. Nice taunt as well, but KhaoticPurpose still going to be so low, only barely getting out with the Mjolnir's attunement.
Man, Keegs is playing out of his mind right now, and this is going to be great for Elevate. They pop the ultimate, force Cameron out, now turn to Kenshin, but the belly flop just off the mark. Keegs still diving, though, looking for that Fatalis, but he misses a shot, and he goes a little bit too deep, but the tier 1 tower picked up by Elevate.
Freya,
Boronic, what is he
on
doing?
point. McWafflez going to be able to find Boronic, who was just out of place in the wrong spot at the right time
This
for
is an
Elevate.
issue. This is an issue right now for Aware. Keegs is 1-0-0, but level 15, highest in the game. Over, 2 levels over any member of Aware right now, and he's going untouched in these fights. And he's playing it perfectly too. Not only that Gold Fury where he managed to survive through, but even that fight right there. There's a travel time. It's short, but when you pop that ultimate from Freya, it takes about a second to get up into the sky. And for him to time that, knowing before Thor even started landing, knew that he had to go up into that air and avoids the stun.
Fantastic presence of mind coming out from Keegs, like I said, game 1 and game 2. Now, earlier, I wanted to touch on that first kill on Boronic. How was that going to affect the Zeus? But now I want to talk about the 2 kills, because before I could touch on it, he died again.
Yeah, Boronic there, I mean, that's the thing. You don't have an escape on Zeus, so you need to be very careful. And so he just loops around by himself, and he gets picked off. I mean, that was just a bad pathing. He should have went underneath the tier 2, especially, when his team was already losing a fight. If they're winning and it's the middle of engagement, yeah, you can loop around in that spot and make an impact. But when it's just you walking into 4 people who are full health, never going to go your way. And Aware really just need to reset, right? I think they got a little bit flustered after that Gold Fury steal where Boronic got picked up as well. You saw that last engagement, just kind of going in one at a time. The Ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah, just all to their deaths. And so if they just get that out of their mind and start grouping up and paying attention to this Freya, they should be okay. But Elevate do have the advantage right now, and they're grouping up finally.
They need to reset, but they need to do it very quickly because Freya's not going to go anywhere. KhaoticPurpose going to crash down, but be off the mark with the Anvil of Dawn, not able to lock down anyone on Elevate.
And Elevate are finally doing what they need to do as a unit, grouping up, playing together. They've taken this tier 1 in mid. All 5 on the right-hand side, and they know that Cameron's on the left. They're going to see those minions come through, which means this tier 1 should be free if they look to force a fight. But I think they're a little bit too worried about the split push, and so Keegs going to take a trip back to the base to defend his tower. Oh, he got hit by the reach, but no taunt.
No taunt coming through. Instead, Kenshin going to back off, head back to the lower side of that Fire Giant. Things are still going to be coming up, buffs as well. But the biggest thing is the Gold Fury. DoctorL and Cam are going to go ahead and start this up, and the gigantic rotation from Elevate, they're going to spot it out, and Cam are going to leash it, but not before Waffles comes in behind him.
Gonna go aggressive here, looking for the stun, but Cameron takes to the sky. Instead, it's trouble for DoctorL, but he is gonna get out, and that's a wasted Nemesis ult. Boronic's in a great spot right now, but he gets belly flopped.
3-man knock up into the Intoxicate. That's so much damage coming through, and Elevate finally in a position to dish out the damage, but it's not good for them right now because Boronic got him right in the middle of the storm. Taking out Rippin holes, which is a huge part of the CC, and set up for Elevate.
Just dove way too deep right now. Athena ult not gonna connect onto Keegs, but he gets picked up by Boronic anyway, and the ult's back up from KhaoticPurpose. He's gonna find Jumpahhh, no mana, and he knows it. He's gonna miss the double tap in Sanctuary, gonna buy the soul, just barely enough time to get out. Fantastic initiation from Elevate, but they couldn't get the kills in that split second. They needed to back off, and they just walked under a tier 2 with a Zeus ult still up and paid for it.
All that work that Elevate did, everything that they've worked for thus far just got completely negated with that fight. Gold is back to even, and Aware Gaming now storming down this Gold Fury, already at 19%. It's going to fall again, and they're going to find the first Gold Fury of the game. Or first of their Gold Furies.
First of their Gold Furies. 1,700 in the lead here. Small, 16.5 minutes in, but still a lead nonetheless. You can see about a 2,000 experience lead. Can we see who that's on exactly as well? We're seeing Keegs has about a 1-level lead, and actually for the most part, everyone very similar. A lot of that XP lead is actually onto Kenshin, level 14. This is a great spot for him to be in. Because there's so much action, he's got his High to the Urchin very early, already 3 stacks. Gonna be a very efficient item for him moving forward. And he's gonna be very hard to kill right now. I mean, it's really only gonna be able to be Freya who can shred through him, or you have to burn a Nemesis ult.
Definitely, and all eyes are on Keegs. Keegs made wonders in the last game, and now it's up to this Freya to help carry the team. He's lacing up the backpack. He's getting ready.
Keegs is a phenomenal player, but He does go a little bit too hard sometimes, but this is the thing. When he gets a lead like this, he can do this, right? He's allowed to be this hyper aggro player. You wouldn't normally see it, especially against an Athena Thor who are going to be able to camp him, but honestly, Aware have given him just so much freedom to do what he wants that he has taken that freedom and kept pushing the limits and just like, all right, are you guys going to do anything? We saw a single gank onto the Freya, and it got turned on negatively. They lost a tower, lost the Gold Fury, lost like 3 members.
And now we've seen nothing with KeegsMate or against KeegsMate. He's just been able, they gave him a little inch, like you mentioned, and he's brought it into this mile. He's 1-1-0, but he's level 17, the highest on Elevate. So it's up to him. Plus, he's a Freya. Like, just in general, the character he's on is terrifying.
Especially once he gets full build here. He already does have his core, Demonic, Fatalis. She's the Magi. It's going to give him a lot of mobility. Obviously, when he hits those wider basics with the Pulsar Radiate combo, Fatalis is so phenomenal. And that's just going to allow him to just have so much mobility in a fight. And we're already seeing Aware having trouble getting to him. The Thor just isn't really able to do enough damage, even with an Athena on top. Really, you're going to need to see a pretty hard CC combo, bait out those relics on the Freya, and then look to reinitiate and kind of stun combo him, hoping his ult is down or baiting out that as well.
Gold Fury's still not going to be up for a little while longer, so even though we're at 19 minutes, just about 4-4, Aware Gaming have a little bit of a lead, but Elevate, until then, have been running the show. They have been doing so well, a complete flip from the last game.
And again, I don't think Elevate have this amazing team composition that's synergizing together, but what they do have is a lot of gods who have just this outplay potential. Amaterasu has so much mobility, and the team as a whole can utilize that movement speed aura to kind of just run circles around Aware. That's really what you want to do, is use that movement speed to set up these jukes.
But they're hiding around the back line, gonna be able to just completely erase KhaoticPurpose. Jumpahhh waiting for the right moment for that Sanctuary to end. Just a very easy kill coming out. Boronic already using the ultimate and then having to use his own Sanctuary as well.
Cameron on the split push in the meantime here, but there's going to be a TP defense, and now Elevate are starting to make moves by themselves. That's one of the first kind of initiations we've seen, but here's the issue. KeegsMate pushed up by himself. He does have 0 relics in his ult. Was not available either, but somehow he got out of that.
Barely getting by the skin of his teeth, and now Cameron dishing out as much damage, much DPS as he can onto the Amaterasu, but to no avail. A little too tanky, not enough being pumped out yet.
And DoctorL's got a TP to the right-hand side. You saw that push coming out, but Nemesis and Soul see it coming. Reminisst just gonna back off for now, go farm up his own buffs. Elevate, they've got the momentum now, which is something we haven't really seen in any of the 4 games. This is the first time we see them actually have momentum, try and make plays, pushing forward, but it is a dead even game, so they need to do it carefully.
And they have to be careful because, like you mentioned earlier, they don't have the team comp for it. They don't synergize well enough with the gods. The players may, but there's not a lot of wombo combo opportunities. It's just not easy to stack all this together versus Aware, which have the perfect team comp. Unfortunately for them, they've been having a hard time making that work because Elevate have been on point, especially Keegs. They just let that Freya get out of control.
And if you look at the stats too, Aware have been out farming Elevate. I mean, the gold is basically even, but Elevate have taken 2 more towers, and so that was just from kind of splitting the map. It's going to be a lot harder to take these tier 2s, but in the end, it just tells you that Aware have been more efficient in what they've been doing. You know, they secured that Gold Fury, they've stolen a buff or 2 here, and they've just been farming their own map pretty well. They still need to deal with this Freya, though.
Nice, here comes the ultimate in, and KeegsMate just gonna get obliterated between Cameron and KhaoticPurpose. That's the big bit of damage they wanted to get off the board. Gold Fury is about to come up. They timed that perfectly.
And that's the thing with Keegs. He's gonna make 4 outplays, and then he's gonna be pushed up by himself with no wards against a Thor and Athena, and also with no relics. That's Keegs for you. That just embodies Keegs, right? He's just such a good raw mechanical player. We've seen outplays from him every single game he's played, but then he just is pushed up as a Freya against double globals and no relics or wards.
Elevate rotating over, trying to stop the minions from getting any little extra bit of damage onto the tier 1 tower. It's still hanging on a good bit. It's only gonna take a couple more hits to go down, but they don't want to let that happen just yet. That's gonna be extra gold for Aware. They want to just Just stim it out. Besides, they don't want to focus too much on that upper left side when Gold Fury is still available.
Oh, this is huge. They've actually forced out Amaterasu's ult. You know, where I think wanted to go for the Gold Fury, but DoctorL was on the wrong side of the map with his teleport still down. Instead, they're going to focus on this tier 1 in mid.
3-man Intoxicate, but no real follow-up coming out from Elevate. Aside from the Supernova, good knock-up onto Rippin holes. Boronic going to be able to find it, and then Cameron taking out the Bacchus. This tier 1 tower is still standing, but not for much longer.
And Elevate just take that fight without Freya. Keegs has been the one keeping them in the game right now. Freya's going to ult and actually burn all of her shots very early. KhaoticPurpose to the back line. Gonna get a sprint as well to disengage, but under tower, Cameron's taking out Reminisst, and Elevate come in one at a time and just keep falling.
They just keep falling. Definitely tier 2 tower, now about half. KhaoticPurpose gonna chase down, but Keegs pops that Sanctuary, not able to get any damage through that relic.
Really?
But tier 2 tower's down. Cameron popping into the ultimate, but all 3 shots spent.
He went for the one in the back line there, but out of range, and at the very least, this is gonna be a free Gold Fury. Wards on there or not. No way Elevate can get in a position to defend this, and with that tier 2 down and a couple extra kills as well, this was a dead even game. No longer.
Yeah, Elevate were looking so good. What happened?
Keegs got picked.
They just took out Keegs?
That's what it comes down to. I mean,
if Keegs isn't there, they lose?
I mean, you're 22 minutes into a game, and your most fed player, who's really been the one that's been high impact for you, gets picked off right as the Gold Fury spawns. And then Elevate, you know, have to be in a position where they're trying to stop that mid-tier 1 from being defended, but he's not in a good position. Amaterasu ult had just been baited. And just a single pick like that can dictate a game. It really can, especially on a Freya.
Keegs gonna lose his edge here soon as everybody else starts nearing level 20, especially his lane partner Cameron. Freya is still very formidable in the late game, but the novelty starts to wear off soon. We're 24 minutes and 5 seconds in, 8-5 read the kills, and a nice hefty gold lead in favor for Aware Gaming, pushing over 5,000 for experience and gold.
And honestly, Elevate was in this position last game as well, so this isn't like a death sentence, and we've talked about it. You got that Freya. I mean, KeegsMate just needs to be more careful with his positioning and when he's trying to farm. The main issue is that this Nemesis is really going to struggle to set up for anyone. She's going to be able to steal a lot of health and protections, but it's not like they have that big Mage Burst ultimate that's going to finish someone off in an instant. They have a Soul who's got, you know, Supernova, which can be impactful, but it's not that guaranteed combo that you normally see.
Aware Gaming need to push this lead, though. They're going through the jungle. They're taking everything else out, but we're not seeing any objectives. We're not seeing them push back after that tier 2 tower in the mid. They haven't even looked at him. Now they probably start to head up for this left side, but aside from that, Fire Giant is available soon
and this
if they want to go for it.
And this is what they need. They actually wanted to push up some towers here, but they were a little bit worried about the potential Fire Giant from Elevate getting snuck under them, so they kept Cameron over there. And I like this now. They've put DoctorL on the left-hand side, that tier 1 very low. KeegsMate is going to be there to defend it in the one-on-one, but DoctorL has that teleport, and what you're doing right now as Aware is splitting this map, right? If you can keep Keegs on the left-hand side and force a fight in the mid or at the Fire Giant, that's huge. You want to make sure that Keegs is either picked off or not a part of the engagement.
Do Aware want to finish this early, just so Elevate don't have any way to catch themselves back up, find their footing once again?
We're at the point of the game where it doesn't really matter. Aware's almost full build and Elevate are right behind it. I mean, if you fight now, it's basically going to be the same. You definitely want to make a move in the next couple minutes. You don't want Elevate to finish off any power spike items. You could see Freya did just finish off that Polynomicon.
Elevate starting up the Gold Fury, but Aware Gaming not going to let them have it. So instead, we're just waiting to see which one wants to take the step first. Let's ride along with Aware Gaming as they try to stop Elevate.
I pop shell, Okay. I saw him. Let's go. Careful. Okay. Yo, I'm fine. I have ult. Back up. What's taunt? Oh, I have it. Bacchus. Wait, Bacchus. Bacchus. Freya, oh no. Help the back. Freya back too. Back. Freya. I'm killing him. You fucking suck. No. Careful. Thor's right here. Alright, we got. Who got? Ward it. Fire. We do it? Yeah. I don't think we can do it. Tama. Get it. I'm on it. I'm on fire. Careful. On fire. I got it back out. Good out. I think we should reset. No, I didn't know y'all were weak. Reset. Reset. You down. Actually, you have touch shot or beads up? I need it back. I can ult back. Guys, we're not gonna
Just get out. Just get out. Reset.
Yo, guys, don't get caught lazy backing.
Even though they're not able to secure the Fire Giant for themselves, Aware take out 4 members of Elevate in that Steel Series listening.
And you could see them doing a much better job at the objective, immediately going on that Amaterasu when she walked up, and that was needed because of how low they were. But they did all group up. That allowed Soul to get a decent amount of poke off onto them, and then it put them. You heard them in the end there. I didn't realize you guys were too weak, and because of that, because Soul hit so hard this late into the game, you have to back off. You can't run the risk of someone getting, or even losing a couple members despite getting an FG.
The only problem with this, Elevator back now, so Aware Gaming trying to burn it down as quickly as possible with full HP. Reminisct forced to use that purification in the backline, but Fire Giant is still a possibility for either team, which is why Aware Gaming back off.
And Aware have to do that. If they made the call immediately after winning that fight to back and then regroup on the Fire Giant, they probably could have done it, but because they dealt with the Amaterasu and Soul too long, it allowed Elevate's members to respawn, get in a position, and then Aware's not really in kind of that confident notion here, but a couple members do back and finish off some items here. Spirit's Robe being worked on by the Thor. It's going to help him keep a lot safer in these engagements. We have seen the Thor start to get shredded. On top of that, Tahuti finished for Zeus, and then a Tahuti, and then a Crusher actually picked up by Cameron.
28 minutes, 30 seconds in. Reminisct gonna take a little bit of damage, but that Retribution Shield gonna heal him right back up. And Fire Giant started up once again. Aware Gaming do not want to let this go, and neither do Elevate.
Aware trying to bait the fight right now. You can see they're not really committed. They're gonna throw out some poke damage. When it gets low enough, you'll see Elevate start to pile in, but here's the fight.
McWafflez getting piled on, but Aware DoctorL getting very low. He's using the ultimate. He's going to try to heal back up. There it is. And now KhaoticPurpose joining the fight with the Anvil of Dawn. Elevate backing off, but KeegsMate looking for the kill. Jumpahhh going to be able to find it instead.
And great job by Elevate there. You saw Aware go aggressive. They dump a lot into Waffles, who's able to sustain, and then it's really just the Soul and the Freya pumping that damage into DoctorL. He gets his heal off, but Freya still has ult. She's able to take to the sky to secure the kill, and Aware had just burned all their cooldowns for the most part outside of a couple ults, and they didn't really feel confident in going for that reinitiation.
Oh, they were waiting for it just around the corner. McWafflez, he only needs one more hit. Boronic going to be able to find it. Fire Giant wants to give one more hit back to Rippin holes, but Cameron going to finish the life of the Bacchus with the ultimate, and then Athena crashes in with KhaoticPurpose, but that is a Sanctuary burn for Reminisct.
Keegs, what are you
not
doing?
going to be able to lock him down. Instead, Keegs in the back
Keegs,
line.
what are you doing?
He's still alive, but not for long. Cameron takes him out.
He trades that 1-for-1 though, which is huge, but now Reminisct has to get out. Same with the Soul getting chased by 3 players. Athena looking for the taunt, and KhaoticPurpose just going for Zove, but Aware took way too much poke damage from Keegs.
KhaoticPurpose taking a lot of damage from the Soul as well. That Stellar Burst is nothing to sniff at. Jumpahhh still able to dish out a lot of damage, even though he's at half health.
I mean, these fights have just been going back and forth. It's mostly Keegs and Jumpahhh here, just spacing themselves so well, at least at the beginning of fights. I'm not going to talk about Keegs walking in 1v4 there. Could be trouble, though. Cameron does find Jumpahhh here in the corner, and he's going to survive that.
Thankfully, with DoctorL's help, otherwise he would have fallen very quickly. Cameron almost getting outplayed, but that's just the safety of having teammates with you, trusting your team to help bail you out of sticky situations like that.
And KhaoticPurpose ulted. I don't know what he ulted for, but
he ulted. Vision, more than likely Vision, just to see where everybody's at.
It's the new ult, right? I'm not stacking
Zoning.
damage, I'm just checking their positioning.
Exactly, but it's a very push and pull game. It looked very solid for Elevate, and then Aware looked very solid, and once again, like the first game, we're bouncing back and forth between the two teams. It's that push and pull, the ebb and flow.
Honestly, these frontliners aren't as tanky as you would like them to be. We're seeing the Amaterasu and honestly, this Erlang Shen both get shredded. And it's kind of just the lack of ability for either team to dive into the opponent's backline. No one's really able to open up kills on Jumpahhh or on Boronic, and so they both have to space themselves as well as possible. And now I think this is actually a full commit from Aware onto this Fire Giant. We didn't see it last time.
Nope, starting out the Fire Giant. Aware Gaming going to be able to take it for themselves, but the Intoxicate, Rippin holes, trying to make something out of it, but he's going to get ripped up himself. Cameron getting credit for the kill. The Amaterasu ultimate going to stun too, but KeegsMate in the backline looking for Boronic once again. Not going to be able to find it. Cameron with the snipes.
2 kills coming out for him. Now 32 minutes into this game, KhaoticPurpose taken to the sky. He's going to come down here. Doesn't have the range to find the Soul, but he does wall him off from the rest of his team. TP to his hammer with the Athena in tow and a 3-man taunt. This is game.
absolute, just complete wash. Deicide, they are D-E-D dead. Thank you, F. Deicide coming through 32 minutes in. Titan gonna fall here shortly as the Phoenix just gets absolutely toasted.
All comes down to Keegs getting picked in the duel lane there. It was an even game. He's pushed up, no wards against double globals, no relics available, dies in that even game that Elevate fought so hard to get was just suddenly a 6K lead for Aware, and then Aware, with that momentum, just pushed forward. Their team composition worked so well. You saw KeegsMate trying to get to the back line, looking for the Zeus every fight, but he was unable to come up with the kills outside of once, and then always fell in the end, and just not able to do anything.
It depends on how the rest of the day goes, but at this point with 6 points, Aware are looking very nice for their spot at the hi-rez expo. Anything goes. There could be some crazy three-way tie. Nobody knows, because nobody knows how people are going to play at LAN. There's jitters, and then you just find the secret lanimals, like KeegsMate.
Allegiance and Cyclone here, I mean, unless they trade out, Aware is qualified.
Yes.
That's the only way. If Elevate lose all of their games, and then Allegiance and Cyclone also trade out evenly, you could force a three-way tie, but looking real good for Aware right now. And you saw that group at the end, that group hug at the end there. They know it too. They're feeling confident. They're looking great as well.
Feeling confident, looking confident, even from the start. Like I said, these guys came up from the Challengers Cup, found their way into the SCL, and have fought their way to the top. And now, here they are, two straight days in a row. And
to be fair, I don't feel like they've had a true test yet. They're going to go up against Allegiance in the final day, and I'm actually really excited to see.
That's going to be a great game.
Even if they're both qualified, it's going to be exciting to see really who's the top of that group.
I had a great time watching that game, but I want to see what the analysts have to say. Over to you, F.
Thanks a lot, Tiger. That one went, well, it certainly went Aware's way. We'll take a look at how everybody winds up after that. As we said, 3 points in total for taking that sweep. Goes to Aware, and that's going to put them at 6 in total. Team Allegiance, they have yet to play today. We'll see them play third. But right now, they've got 3 points, and then Cyclone have 0, and Elevate, obviously, have a big old goose egg, unable to really find a win. I think that everything was on display in that last game right there. Perfectly sort of laid out. We got to see KeegsMate go absolutely incredibly ham, and that's the only thing that happened.
Yeah. Pretty much with the Freya, just wanting to try to avenge himself after the first game, playing a little bit too aggressive on the Honor with the Fatalis, getting punished for it. But now on the Freya, who is more naturally gifted towards having the Fatalis, was making a lot of the plays, and we saw him on the Gold Fury. He was able to actually not only find a kill onto Boronic with his ultimate, but also steal the Gold Fury. That was so impressive.
That was a big play by Freya there. I think that was really the only play coming from Elevate's side, honestly.
Yeah.
That game was more of like a stomp.
Exactly, and watching Elevate, that's sort of what we were talking about is that Keegs is playing very well. He's playing very fantastic individual Smite, but when you come to here at the LAN, everything all comes together in one spot. If you look at what Aware has been doing, sure, you can point to Boronic and say that this guy has been absolutely, lights out carrying the games. You can point to the jungler KhaoticPurpose and say this guy is lights out carrying the games, but it's everybody coming together that's really making Aware do work.
You could just tell the synergy that they have between themselves, even in picks and bans, picking up the Athena, Thor, and the Zeus. Boronic got respect banned the Zeus the first game, and then like, okay, you have a good rod, we're going to respect ban. The rod gets to Zeus anyway, still does wonders with it.
Yeah, I just don't understand how they draft the same way they did week 1 SCL, and you don't have a game plan against a team that drafts exactly the same. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that's another thing. Elevate, like we said, on the battlefield, not coming up right. But talking to some of the players, homie, and before we move on real quick, I want you to touch upon this. Some of the players have really talked about just not really having the same level of preparation that I think you might expect pro-end players come in. What does Allegiance do to really prepare for something like this?
A lot of us just queue ranked all day before scrims. Like, before scrims, like, you can always find at least 2 of us queuing ranked at all times. And then before scrims, that's that. And then during scrims, we just grind it out. We usually scrim for like 3-4 hours a day, every single day. I think we take like 1 day off a week. And then after scrims, we're sitting here talking about what went wrong, what went well, what can we do next time. Even if a game went perfectly fine, we made them F6 in 8 minutes, what can we do better?
Tell me about the theory crafting that you do with your team, the ideas that you bounce off of each other. Do you only discuss it with your team? Do you go outside of your team in the console league or also into the SPL?
Well, I'm like good friends with a lot of the guys on PC. Even though Xbox is a lot different than PC, sometimes I can get like a little cool like pointers and shots from people on the PC scene and bring him over to my team in the Xbox scene.
One player that really has all the strats himself is Boronic. He played absolutely incredibly, and he's standing right next to my man Aggro. Talk about the set.
That's right. I'm joined by Boronic. Awesome set there for you guys. How you guys feeling after that big 2-0?
Oh man, I have no words. Like, just the first time going the Worlds, you know, it's like I don't know. I have no words.
Yeah,
like, I'm just so excited.
You're very, very close. Basically guaranteed Worlds at this point. A couple ways that you can get into a 3-way tiebreaker, but seems unlikely at this point. So that's going to be really exciting. And to be at this point, basically guaranteed for Worlds, when you were a Challenger Cup team coming into the fall split, what's that sort of transition been like?
Well, they picked me up about like 4 days before the Pro League, so I wasn't a part of the Challenger part.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I joined and we just like clicked, and I don't know. I don't know, honestly.
No, I know. It's a very exciting time for you, I'm sure. And talk to me about you in Layers. I mean, Layers, you and him worked really well together the first 2 weeks. Then the whole very public, leaving the team, bringing him back. What's your relationship been like with him?
Oh, we're close friends. We think we're the best mid jungle. So we're looking to show that we're the best at Worlds. So yeah.
And you're not quite done yet. Tomorrow you'll be playing up against ALG. There's already been a little bit of Twitter back and forth as usual between the hunters. How are you guys feeling going into that matchup?
Honestly, I don't care what happens because we're most likely going to Worlds anyway. But we're looking to secure the first seed, against them. So we're gonna go hard tomorrow.
All right, man. Well, congratulations again. You played awesome, and make sure you guys stay tuned because up next we're gonna have Soar versus Excel. It's gonna be exciting, that's for sure.